in fact still in the range today, loved by bike aficionados and indeed by many sort of fashionistas as well. Change for me. Then came the 80s, where workwear moved into country wear, and it suddenly became de rigueur for people in the town to be wearing smart country casual clothing, as well as the country. It was a phenomenal time for Barbour. Some of you that are as old as I am might actually remember having a Barbour as a child. It was just the jacket that you absolutely wore, and it was an incredibly successful time. But obviously, like any product life cycle, it has its cycle, and it came to an end. And in the 1990s, the company then had to look as to how it was going to evolve. And along came sort of the 2000s. So in recent years, we've actually brought in new styles that are much shorter, much more fitted, both in wax and in other fabrics as well. But we've also gone into knitwear, into accessories, into trousers and shirts. So we offer the whole wardrobe now. But we've very much taken our heritage. It's been evolution, not revolution. We've taken our heritage, but we've made it relevant to today. And I think that's the important thing to say. Nowadays, you'll see celebrities from the wonderful world of rock and music, TV and film. And as Max Clifford was telling us this morning, that's very important in today's celebrity culture. But it helps to drive interest, but more importantly, it also helps to drive business. I would say this, but the press coverage that we're getting is pretty high profile in both national and regional coverage with magazines and newspapers. So we're getting an awful lot of interest there, which again helps grow our business. So I think in conclusion, both Claire and I would say that expertise and innovation arises not despite of geographical positioning, but because of it. The region has had to adapt and evolve to survive. And goodness knows, I think the North East is more adept than many other regions in actually doing that. It does a tremendous job. And it's never going to be easy to set up a business in the North East, but I think if you follow sound marketing principles and your will to survive is there, and you take on the challenges and opportunities, then actually you'll get there, whatever is thrown at you. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed to both of you. I have to say I'm sitting here with a serious case of jacket envy. Fabulous jacket. But OK, on swiftly, without any further ado, to our colleagues from Sage, if you would like to take the stage.
That was really interesting, guys. I think we'd probably agree at Sage that we've got the same advantages and disadvantages of being in the North East. And although we're now a global company and we've got 15,000 employees and over 5 million customers worldwide, we're still extremely proud to be in the North East, and I'm extremely proud to work for a North East company. But, well, why? It's funny because whenever we get visitors up from London or down south, they're always so amazed by how passionate and friendly people are, from the taxi driver through to the lady on reception and everyone they meet. And it's funny because our brand values at Sage are actually around being passionate, friendly and pragmatic as well. And we think it's really vital that our people at Sage embody these. And we actually started as a small business ourselves at Sage. And in fact, the idea for Sage started on the quayside here in a pub, where all the best ideas start, I think, 27 years ago. And that's when our founders came up with a solution to a customer's problem. In fact, one of them had a printing business himself and wanted a way of being able to manage his finances in a way that wasn't just sticking receipts in a box. And that's how the original accounting software came about. And now, 27 years later, 800,000 businesses in the UK use our software, whether it's to manage accounts, payroll, keep an eye on their customers, suppliers. You know, companies that use Sage software range from very, very small businesses through to larger companies like Pret-a-Manger or even the Navy. And as we continue to grow, I think what's really important to us is that we maintain a focus on the customer, like Barbour, listening to what they've got to say and putting their wants and needs into our software and services. And we still like to think that we retain the innovative spirit of those founders today in Sage, and that's what we're about. But enough about history, that's what we do. what is it that helps us to differentiate ourselves in an increasingly competitive market? Well, firstly, it's about our people. I've already touched on them. And secondly, it's our brand. And Joanna's going to talk about how the two of them are actually linked, and at Sage they're one and the same.
Well, I thought I'll start, as it's a marketing event, I thought I'll start with a bit of a definition as to what is a brand. And the one I've managed to dig out somewhere from my books said, assembly of tangible and intangible factors that when taken together create a set of perceptions in your mind. Wow. I've been working for a variety of brands for many, many years, but it's quite difficult to actually understand or find a definition that says, what is brand? So the key to that definition is actually a set of perceptions. This is what we actually do, what marketeers do. They try to create through marketing strategy, communications, advertisement, anything what Barbour does or what we do, is we try to create that perception in a customer mind in order to get them to think of our brand in a certain way. And if I pick any brand, I don't know, Coca-Cola, there is a set of tangible and intangible assets that you can think about. So, you know, all of us would probably think, okay, the bottle, the shape of it, the Coca-Cola logo. But also most importantly, the intangible things. You know, I think Christmas, kind of cool, American dream, you know, these are the things that come to my head. But for each brand and for each one of you, those feelings and those emotions will be slightly different. So, each brand have got a set of values, and again, you all probably know it, but they are the kind of three categories, the functional values, and going kind of into the world of software, hardware, which is where we kind of live, is actually the functional values are very much about what is at the core of the products, you know, the kind of benefits, performance, you know, what is it exactly? And if I looked, I don't know, at buying a laptop and compared many kind of hardware products in store. Actually, nowadays they're all quite similar. And it's quite challenging to choose between them. And although you must get that element right, you must make sure that the quality of the product or the service is excellent, that actually doesn't give you the differentiation of the brand. So what is it? Well, you've got a next set of values, kind of digging down, and these are the kind of expressive values. And this is very much about, you know, about the kind of, you know, what the brand says about itself. If I had to describe it as a person and a personality. So we at Sage believe or aspire that we want to be a passionate and pragmatic and friendly brand. And if I look at another kind of brand that is very well known, let's say Apple, well, they don't compete on the kind of product level. There are many other amplifier players or laptops that are great, in fact, probably sometimes even better in terms of the performance. But actually what makes Apple different is that perception, is that kind of style, experience that they hope they give us. You know, it's that perception in our heads that makes Apple different to other brands. And if I continue kind of going deeper, there is a set what's called of central values. And central values is really a simple question that you need to ask yourself. What is the reason for my brand to exist? Why I'm here? You know, what is it that's going to make me different now and in many years coming to the competitors? And many, many years ago, in fact, my boss then was a part of creating the Apple. And one of the things that they said, in fact, they said their motto was, "Man shall not be subservient to a machine." And that's what everything and how it started for Apple. Everything they developed through functionality, the way they looked, the way they styled things, was with the person, with the human in mind, not with the technology in mind. The technology was always to be subservient to the use of the kind of customer. So what is actually at the heart? What is that central thing for Sage? And we at Sage believe, and you know, that's what we live by, that the customer experience, the extraordinary customer experience, that's what's special, that's what we can at Sage offer. It's in our essence, it's almost in our DNA, and that's one of the things that's almost in the Northeast DNA. You know, the people, the way they kind of, you know, I remember starting at Sage and kind of going